Welcome back, boys and girls. And tomorrow is a Halloween, and also the opening day of muzzleloader. And as I've shown you before, I have my muzzleloader sighted in at 50 yards, dead bullseye. So I'm really good out to 100 yards for sure. And tomorrow morning sunrise is at 7:38, so we could legally hunt from 7:08. And we're having our first cold front. We're gonna be in low 30s, so they're gonna be moving. Only problem is I'm not seeing that many deer in my trail camera. It's almost crazy. I just checked my camera yesterday, and in 5 days, I only have one picture of a running deer. Until last year, I was getting at least 10 pictures of deer in every camera. So I don't know where they went, but I'm still looking forward to it because we have a cold front coming and a lot of leaves already fallen, so I could see further. And with a muzzleloader that I could reach out to 100 yards, I'm just hoping I could see a deer that I want and I could reach out and drop it. So the tree stand that I'm gonna pick the one that I have the most visibility. The muzzleloader that I'm using is by CVA, it's Optima, top with a loophole scope, and I had this rifle for over 17 years. I have a great news. I just got a call from my hunting buddy, my chucker hunting buddy, and he told me he was able to get a permission to hunt his neighbor's property for me, for deer hunt. So things might turn out okay. So I'm actually gonna go over today and check out the property, and I might hunt there on the first opening day of muzzleloader. It is now 7:09, and I'm ready to hunt at the new place my friend Larry introduced me to. Just around 7:20, I saw a nice big dog coming on my right. And I had my camera up and had my rifle pointing at her, but she caught my movement. She was only about 30 yards away. And she was looking at me. I was looking at her through the scope. I just didn't have any other shot. I could see her head and a little bit of her neck, but nothing else. So I didn't want to guesstimate and pull the trigger, so I waited, hoping that she would take 2 or 3 steps forward and I would have her. But instead, she caught me. There she goes. And she never gave me a shot. Right here, it looks like from a camera view that I have a shot at her vital. But the camera's on my left side, but through my scope, I didn't have her vitals. And she starts to move again. So I'm thinking, yes, this is it. 3 more steps and I will have her vitals. But instead, she turned and she walked away, putting that tree behind her back. Never saw her again. It is now 9:34 and I moved to a different location. I see a deer coming, so I turned my camera on, and I thought it was a big, mature doe. And taking a careful look at it, it was a small forky, but had a really big body. And looking at it, it looked like it was probably under 2 years old. It didn't have a thick neck, meaning it's not rotting yet. So it should be really good eating. At this point, I was really thinking, should I take it or not? Because I was looking for meat, but this is kind of iffy. But knowing that this is a really good eating deer, I decided to take a shot if it gives me a chance. It's now 10:37 and I just shot a medium-sized buck. Man, I am so pumped. I finally got my season started. Now the problem with the muzzleloader is that we got so much smoke, we can't really see where the deer ran. So I shot him right there. And then after the smoke cleared, I had a glimpse of him going into that woods right there. So I'm hoping he should be laying there somewhere. As you can see in Virginia, we have so much trees and brushes. It's really hard to get a clear shot. So every opportunity that we have to take advantage of it, or you'll never get your deer. I shot him right there. That's probably about 50, 60 yards away. It was a perfect distance. And then he took off this way. According to lunar calendar, because we had a full moon last night, the game movement was between 11 a.m. to about 2 p.m. So it worked out. And I got my tree stand all packed up, so let's go find that buck. It was kind of a shame to use a dog tag on a meat deer, but this was more than just a buck. For me, this was my ticket out of my slump. As I mentioned, I was having the worst season ever, and I just needed to get my season started, but it happened to be a nice sized meat buck. Now, one thing cool about the climbing tree stand is that if you don't like the location, you can always pack up and move. It takes little effort, but I tell you, man, it pays off. Man, I tell you, man, this is jungle. Whew. I believe I shot him right next to that tree right there. I know I shot him right here, right next to this tree, but I wasn't able to find any blood trail. Now, the problem with the copper blade is it's devastating, but because it has such a small hole, it doesn't leave a whole lot of blood. So I was looking around, and I don't know if you could see it, but right up there, I see him laying there. So he didn't go far. He probably went about 20 yards and dropped. All right, let's go take a look. Oh man, it's jungle everywhere. Yeah, he didn't go far. I hope you could see this. It's right there. It's only a 4-point, but this should make a good eating. With a perfect shot. That's the entrance, so that's exactly what I was aiming for. Yes, I got my deer. Those 4-point bucks, I tell you, man, they're good eating, but at the same time, it's got good size of body on them, so it's gonna be a work. So I'm gonna take my tree stand out first, and then get something to eat and come back and do my work. Okay, it's got a big body, man. That's a big body bug, but it's forky, so it should be good eating. And thank you to my son Joseph. I almost hit that deer. I just want to show you how big this buck is. I'm 5'10" and a half, and it's a good sized body bug, but it doesn't smell because it's not rotting yet. It's still a young buck, so it should taste good, and it should give us a lot of meat. And this is gonna be all back straps and jerky. Okay, now we're gonna age the meat in the refrigerator. This is not a freezer, this is the refrigerator temperature for 10 to 15 days. Most likely 10 days, unless I want to go hunt again, then 7 days. As for the bullets, I'm using 223 grain, 50 caliber in copper bullet, and shooting 100 grains of black powder. I also have some viewers asking me about more detailed version of the video, where it shows how much damage it did and what I did to process the deer. So it gets a little bloody and shows some organs, so it might not be for everybody. So next video, that's what I'm gonna show. So if you wanna see it, stay tuned. And I really wanna thank my friend and a mentor, Larry, for getting me the permission to hunt on this property. Thank you, Larry. And my biggest thanks go to the owner of the property, Greg. Thank you, Greg. And lastly, like always, thank God for what you have, enjoy life with what you got, but mostly remember, when you think you hit the bottom, keep praying, but at the same time, find a way. Because God helps those who help themselves. See ya.